Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello-y, my name is Loey, and over the summer, so many of you were tagging me in videos about a supposed cult started on TikTok. It's called Children of the Waning Star, but it kind of seemed like everything began and then was sort of resolved and over within a week. So I never dug much deeper, but today, as I always do, while I was getting ready to film something for you guys, I was watching YouTube, and I saw a video on this subject from a creator named Ali Chicasso. So I turn it on, I'm getting ready, and oh my god, this goes so much further than I realized at all. So I highly recommend Ali's video. I'll have it linked down below. But today what I'm gonna do with you is from start to finish, we are going to watch every single TikTok that this self-proclaimed cult leader posted. The culmination and the repercussions of which have now landed her in an investigation with the FBI. This is genuinely one of the craziest situations I've ever seen unfold on TikTok. I can't believe I'm so late to the party, so buckle in. It's a wild story. But before we get into today's video, it is so kindly sponsored by Paradise Paws. Paradise Paws is a fun, free to download mobile game available on iOS and Android, in which you inherit an animal sanctuary in need of some serious love and care on a mysterious island. Together with your best friend Lizzie, you set out on restoring the island and rescuing the animals. It's a merge 3 game, and every merge you make helps to rebuild the sanctuary and provide a safe habitat for these endangered animals. It's hard to pick favorites amongst my children, okay, but this is Jorah. They are a zebra foal. Let's give them a snack because they deserve it. As you play, you unlock different items for your animals, and you unlock different animals, and it all just helps you to rebuild the sanctuary. And that's not all. Greedy developers are trying to claim the island. So as you restore the sanctuary, you have to fight back against them in order to make sure the animal's home stays safe. Plus, it's free to download, ad-free, and works offline. And when you're one of the first 100 people to download the game using my link down below or the QR code on screen right now, you'll unlock an adorable exclusive baby penguin for your animal sanctuary. How cute is that? You can name it after me or anything you want, really. So thank you so much to Paradise Paws for sponsoring this video, and now let's get into this crazy story. On July 10th, 2025, a TikTok user named notgigijarvis posted this video.
I'm starting a cult and you guys are all going to be a part of it. The first thing I want to start doing is Victim of the Week, where whoever drops the funniest photo in my comment section, I'm going to steal your profile picture and become you for a whole week. Also, anyone that follows me, feel free to chime in on the rules to our little society. Like, I feel like holidays could be really fun for us, or maybe like we have a certain emoji so you know that you're in the inn, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just feel like it'd be really good for us. Let me know.
And after watching that first video, I know what you're probably thinking, Loey. Really? Like, what could possibly be so bad about this? In videos that follow, Gigi talks about holidays that they can have for the cult.
Hi, cult leader here. We have a popular cult member request and I want to make it law. But I was wondering what day you guys think we should do this on, and also what we should do each month. I saw a member suggest that we use lime emojis for the day because ew. And then I saw another one say that maybe each month we comment photos of our animals as a sacrifice. Those are just some suggestions. Anywho, whatever the top member comment is on this post will become our law, so vote wisely.
She makes a get to know your cult leader video.
Now that I've gaslit you into our cult, I'm going to explain to you why I'm the perfect leader with all the reasons I should be canceled for. Number 1, I was one of those cringe anime TikTokers in 2020. I might have started the Levi Ackerman x Alvin and the Chipmunks ship, but that just showcases that I'm really good at leading a movement. Number 2 is that I snuck into FurryCon, which showcases that I get the job done. Number 3 is that on my other account, I used to make videos saying run, don't walk to the TikTok shop, which showcases my heart is full of evil and perfect for the cause. I've also done a bunch of super evil, super really cool things, but I signed NDAs for all of that, so I can't tell you. But just know that I'm the perfect person for the job.
And she even lets the audience decide on what cult symbol will be used to identify other members of the cult.
It is now time to choose our cult symbol. This is how we know who is in the inn. Don't think of the emoji as a texting thing. Think of it as me literally coming to you and branding it onto your skin. Anywho, be clever with it. The member with the comment with the most likes on this video will be choosing our symbol, so vote wisely.
The caption of this video is, "I'm branding your skin with our symbol tomorrow." And while clearly she's not being serious with that caption, it sets a really unsettling tone for what is to come. They choose their symbol. It's like the fingerprint emoji and then this little star thing.
Congratulations, we have officially selected the symbols for our cult. We are doing the fingerprint and then the star, like above. Honorable mention to cult member One Silly Billy because they have the most likes on their comment, but I couldn't video stitch it. Also, by doing the fingerprint and the star, hopefully if it comes up as a square for the non-Apple users, you could still tell who's who because of the star next to it. So, congratulations! Once you fall asleep, I'm going to sneak into your home and it into your skin, but in the meantime, feel free to put it in your bio or other places.
And if you were online on TikTok during this time, you would have seen as many as 150,000 accounts with this little symbol combination in their names, indicating that they were part of this special cult. Although, really and truly, as Gigi will call it later, she more thought of it as a community, or so she says. They also decide to pick their cult name.
The time has finally come. We're going to name the cult. A lot of members have been asking about it, and I kind of want to start a Wikipedia page or a Reddit page of our lore, so we definitely need a name. Think of something clever. The member that has the highest like comment on this video will be naming our cult, so make sure you vote wisely.
And between this video and the official announcement of this cult's name, Gigi also makes a video saying that she has indeed put cult leader on her resume. Not quite the way you'd think though.
I'm putting cult member on my resume, guys, I did. If you don't know, I'm a full-time actress model. Who even is she? She's so busted. Okay, I do commercials, and I started this year. Somebody has to talk about the symptoms of butt ointment, okay? And it pays well. Enough. But yeah, I got a call from my manager and she was like, what's this about cults I hear? And I'm like, girl, don't even worry about it. But basically, if you're an actor, you're not really supposed to have a social media presence if you're going for TV show and movie roles. This is because casting directors will look you up to make sure you haven't been canceled. Thing is, if you search me up, cult leader pops up now. Yeah, my agency has yet to hear about this. But I don't know. I was like, girl, wouldn't it be hilarious if I was one day on Nardward and they were like, yeah, what about this cult? Or, hear me out, Jimmy Fallon and I fly a bunch of y'all out there and then we just stand in robes and we're just like, Jimmy, fluoride stare, Gen Z stare. Like, I feel like it'd be good for us. I don't know. And low-key, Scientology's already in Hollywood. So yeah, that's what happens when you put it on the resume.
You can see the date counts here. We're at like day 4 or something like that. And I'm not really talking about other people's reactions just yet, but they were talking. People were having a lot, and I mean a lot of thoughts on this. But Gigi says something weird at the end of the official announcement video for the name of the cult.
Congratulations, we have officially named our cult. Children of the Waning Star, or CWS for short. There were a lot of votes for the name Star Prince. Would we like to use that name to address ourselves as the members, or should we vote on a different name? Anyways, be on the lookout for the next meeting because we will be speaking about the entity.
The introduction of the entity, in my opinion, is where this starts to take a darker turn.
Many members have mentioned an entity come and visit them. Was the entity the waning star itself, or maybe a mythical creature that guards the star? Please let me know on this video. The member that has the most people agree with them will be talked about in tomorrow's meeting. Once we figure out what the entity is, we can then name it and then provide offerings.
You might hear all of this and think it's innocent enough that no one's getting hurt with anything like this, but the problem is that TikTok is flooded, and I mean flooded, with kids who don't always understand how serious something necessarily is. And frankly, at this point, there had been enough people speaking out on the dangers of even jokingly calling something a cult, from real cult survivors sharing their stories and how horrific it was to be in those situations, many of them born into it, adopted into it, all of whom expressed that this was not just some fun, trendy identity to slap on what essentially is just a community.
This Children of the Waning Star thing is really starting to piss me off. I was literally adopted into a cult, and people that are in cults don't know they are. And starting a cult is taking advantage of a bunch of people with mental illness issues or psychosis and that want to belong, and it's not funny, Gigi. And convincing us that it's just a community is exactly what a cult leader would do.
And if you listen to all of the things that Gigi has said into this point, it's clear that a community is what she actually wants. However, when people express their concerns, she kind of just put her head down in the sand. And I really don't say that lightly. I went into this ready to give this girl a decent amount of grace, which is what I had done before I looked further into it. But it is obvious, even from this point, that there were children who were taking this incredibly seriously. And at this point in the video, I'll give out the disclaimer, please do not harass anyone, whether it's her or any of the accounts that I'm about to talk about, because they are kids. And if they're not kids, they're trolling. But this is really bad. This account made a post saying, Gigi Jarvis is now our new God / Jesus. She will lead us to the brink of death. When Gigi Jarvis says so, we will graciously ascend into the arms of heaven. Gigi Jarvis will rule us all until she dies. We must perform rituals in order to sacrifice ourselves for the wonderful God Gigi. We love Gigi. Same poster said, I am ready to sacrifice my cat's life to protect my God, Gigi Jarvis. Do I have your permission to take his life to save yours, Gigi? And I don't know if she's talked about it at this point, but there was this thing where they were talking about how they would sacrifice pet photos. Like, I don't know how frequently they would do it, but everyone would just drop pet photos in the comments of a video or something, and that would be like the sacrifice, not the animal, but obviously the photo. It was like a joke. Kind of a weird one, but okay. But as far as I've seen, no animals were actually harmed. And this account in particular, I actually do kind of think is a troll. The rest of them I don't. This poster said, I love being a part of CWS, Children of the Waning Star. A spirit spoke to me last night about something great going to happen. It's here. They also posted, we miss you, Gigi, when Gigi eventually left the internet after all of this kind of came to a culmination. We'll talk about that in a minute. But on this account, if you looked at it, it would be very obvious that this poster was going through some sort of mental crisis. And actually, as of now, the account now says, I was going through delusions / psychosis. I am no longer a star print, which I guess is what they were calling members of the cult. In fact, in September, the mother of the person who ran this account came forward and posted about this and went on to ask if there was any sort of email that they could use because they were seeking legal action against Gigi. You had kids doing prayer tutorials of how to pray to Gigi. You had others doing DIYs like this. This kid basically took their shoes and just wrote Children of the Waning Star doodles and the symbols and all that stuff all over it. At this point, as you probably already guessed, there's a lot of backlash. And so Gigi comes out and kind of has like a sit down chat with her audience.
Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here as my actual self and be transparent as I can about everything going on because it's insane. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking me like, what exactly are we and what are our goals moving forward? And I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. But to start it all off, we're on day 5. We're on day 5 and we have nearly 150,000 people, which is insane. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but 6 days ago, I was a nobody. I'm not some influencer that came on here and I was like, guys, literally join my cult. No, I put my dog down, had my birthday, and was just like, I feel crazy. I'm going to post something crazy. And then all of a sudden, a lot of you came to me and was just like, I'm down to be a part of something. And that's when it hit me. I was like, this can be something amazing. This could be something really great. And for me, my goals with Children of the Waning Star currently is I want us to create an inclusive community that thrives off kindness. I know that is such a cornball thing to say, and I know it's ironic, especially calling it a cult. But my friends told me like, hey, you should monetize this. You should make subscriptions. You should. I've heard people say make initiations, but no, I personally don't want that. If you want to be a part of this, I want you here. I want you here, and that's enough, you know. I know a lot of people have been like DMing me on Instagram. They're like, hey, like, what can I do to prove that I'm worthy of? You're enough. You're enough. I promise you. I'm used to trolls. I'm used to hate accounts, you know, like, and I'll look at someone's response to like, I think this idea in the comment section is all just people responding to them being like, I like it too. Like, this is awesome. And it's like, wow, people have a place, a third party place where they can be heard and accepted for who they are, their ideas, their creativity. And wow, how beautiful is that? I know that like being called a cult was not the best. There's definitely other names to call this, but now that because of using a clickbait word, we have developed this into a platform, a cultural movement. The engagement is so high. I would love to give back in a sense that I'm posting resources about like what is a cult, like how to navigate that. Also, I would love to do mental health. I would love to showcase like things that could help the members of this. While like also like, I don't know if this has been noticed or anything, but anyone that creates any kind of art, I try so hard to repost it. I want to showcase like what you have done, the energy, the skill, the time you have put forward to like helping cultivate this. This is amazing. That is amazing.
That same day, she says we are no longer a cult, we are a community, and starts over with the days and is like day one of, you know, starting this community.
Hey guys, so we're not going to use the word cult anymore to describe us. Which honestly makes sense, because we're just a community that uses dark aesthetics. No one is actually doing rituals or sacrificing an animal, I hope. Also, like I said in my last video, because of using the word cult and it being clickbaity, and it's the reason why the platform grew so fast, I would love to post resources about all of that. I'm looking into that right now. But anywho, I would still love to make the Wikipedia page, and I cannot write everything myself, so I will continue posting things that we can vote on, and I look forward to hearing what y'all say. Hey guys, if we had an accessory so we could spot out other people from our community out in public, what should it be? Like, is it a pin, a bracelet, a sock, and also is it a certain color scheme? Whoever has an idea with the most amount of likes will be talked about in tomorrow's video, so let me know.
But people found this still pretty concerning, because whether you're calling something a cult or not, what you started it with the intention of was it being a cult, you being a cult leader, no matter how serious you were about it. And so people, you know, they had a lot to say, and there were a lot of different reactions from various creators online.
If you recognize any of these things, stop scrolling, we need to talk. Right now on TikTok, Children of the Waning Star is trending. It is a cult on TikTok. This creator that started it, notgigijarvis, her actions are extremely concerning. So what she is doing is taking advantage of people that struggle with mental illness and people who aren't mentally fully developed, young children that are mainly on the app, and inviting them to this cult that she created. Not to mention how incredibly insensitive it is to survivors of cults. After facing extreme backlash, she started calling it a community. She started saying, "Oh, I didn't know, it's just a community, I just want to do this," and so on and so on. You could read it, pause it, whatever. First off, that is exactly what a cult leader does. And followers. They tell you exactly what you want to hear. They tell you, join this community, it is so nice and you'll love it. A cult leader is not going to tell you it's a cult. It may seem like something harmless and fun and something you want to be a part of, but that is how cults are supposed to appear. It is supposed to be something fun and something that you want to feel belonging in.
On today's episode of What the Rabbit Hole Did I Fall Into on TikTok, I was not passively scrolling for like 5 days. I come back, there's a TikTok cult being formed. I have a really hard time deciphering online whether someone is truly super odd and strange, or they just have like a sense of humor that I'm not getting. So I thought this was like all a big joke. No, it's literally not a big joke to them, apparently. She actually wants to join, like, to start a cult, and she called it that. Like, can I just disclaim, like, that's not funny, first of all. Like, cults are the center of abuse and a lot of people's trauma. Like, it is horrible. Horrible. Have you ever watched a documentary? Like, you want to be different so bad. You want to be different and edgy and witchy so fucking bad. Go do ayahuasca in the woods. Like, leave us the fuck alone.
The Cult of the Waning Star. I'm not going to mince my words for this video. As of early July 2025, a creator on this app would post a video that reads, "Starting a cult, day 1. Following suit, updates have been arriving daily. If you believe this to be a joke and you're going along with everything, you are part of the problem that this situation has become. I'm not stating that this is what the Cult of the Waning Star will become, but you have to keep in mind that other cults, such as Shinrikyo, the group behind the Tokyo subway attacks that killed 14 and injured at least 1,000 more, started off as a yoga and meditation class. Just because you replace the word cult and now declare it a community, nothing changes. You announce it as a cult, and now you must live with the fact that everyone will continue to refer to your following as a cult. Further yet, you, as a person, will forever be viewed as a cult leader, especially since you've decided to bask in all the attention you've gathered over the past few days."
While there were some people saying, you know, I don't think this is that big of a deal, they were largely drowned out by a majority that all agreed that this was a slippery and bad slope to go down. At this point, I think at least someone has probably mentioned that there were rumors that people were basically the symbol into their skin, branding themselves the way that Gigi had like made a joke of. And while she denies this and actually will go on to say when the FBI gets involved that they have found no evidence of this, that is not true. It is so unfortunate that it's not true, but I have seen it with my own eyes. Of course, I'm not going to put that in this video, but I have to imagine that is why the FBI would end up getting involved. And at this point, still, this person does not seem to understand how serious this all is. She went on to post a statement saying, "I started what was meant to be a fun, creative community by kickstarting a voting-style choose-your-own-adventure game. I genuinely didn't realize how hurtful the word cult could be to some, and although I wish I knew sooner, the last thing I wanted was to cause pain. I'm very sorry for my insensitivity. Once I learned, I immediately ended the series. I never supported any harmful behavior. I'm sorry if anyone was hurt or impacted. That was never my intention. Moving forward, I'll be using my platform to raise awareness by sharing resources for cult survivors and mental health. This whole experience happened very fast and was difficult to figure out while receiving harassment and having my personal info leaked. I appreciate those that have been kind and patient while I navigate through this." And while she says, "I am committed to learning and doing better," nothing that she said in this post would end up coming to fruition because she would shortly after leave the internet entirely. The statement that she ended the series when she learned how hurtful cults were or how dangerous this all was is simply not true. And I think you can see that yourself through her replies through the days. I think it just got to the point where she couldn't handle it. She probably was doxxed. She probably was getting horrible threats that nobody deserves. But I have to imagine that was the point that she was like, okay, I can't just keep rolling with this and accepting this viral fame. Because you know, at this point, if you're making videos over a minute, if you're in the creator fund on TikTok, I have no idea if she is or not. But if you are, like, you make money, if they're over a minute, if you gain followers, you have the opportunity to make money. It really is like social currency in today's day and age. So this is my personal opinion, I guess. I have to imagine that she started this, saw it was getting both backlash, but also this loyal community that she had always wanted, and weighed the pros and cons. And for as long as she kept the thing rolling, the pros outweighed those cons for her, and then that changed.
Guys, we're going to be in the documentary about starting a cult soon. No, you guys are going to be in the documentary about cyberbullying a girl from rumors caused by groupthink and fear-mongering. I doubt you guys are even going to watch this video too, but I'm going to get into it and air all of you out. Cult is a bad word and you should have known better. Okay, well, I didn't, and the second I did get informed, I immediately changed everything to community because that's what it's always been. And if it's common sense, then why did 150,000 people also put the little emoji in their name tag? Some of y'all can hide behind a PFP that says, "Not a part of this cult, don't join," and then also be in the comments pointing a finger at me. But guess what? We're on the same page, but I'm taking accountability and you're not. Like, it genuinely feels like the worst game of telephone in my life, which is hilarious. Anywho, found the person that is allegedly themselves. Yeah, and they posted an apology video saying, "Hey guys, sorry, I just posted an eyeliner pic of my arm in black and white filter with caption over it because I wanted to prove that cults were bad. I'm really sorry. Thank you to you too, because you're also ruining my life. Thank you. You're starting a group psychosis with the entity." No, I was trying to make a drawing prompt for the artists that I know follow me that I can like repost their work, you know? And I set it up in a D&D kind of way where it's like, you and your group wake up in the middle of the night, but y'all don't watch my videos. Y'all just read the thumbnail and run with it. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's different things that we could be upset about, different ways to go about it. And that, yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. It's just upsetting.
It started and was over in such a fast time period that was why I didn't even cover it back in July, you know, when all this was happening. But then in September, Gigi came back and she was kind of just making like normal videos until she revealed that the FBI had actually come to her home to talk to her about Children of the Waning Star.
Hey guys, so yesterday 2 FBI agents came over to my house and I spoke with them about Children of the Waning Stars and a few other things. I do want to preface that I will not be revealing any of the personal information of these agents, and I'm also keeping most of the conversation to myself. That being said, there is one thing that I talked about with them that I think that could be beneficial if I let you guys in on the loop of. So for the past 2 months, there's been an ongoing FBI investigation over my TikTok series and the allegations that kids were killing their animals and displaying other concerning behaviors because of my videos. Currently, the FBI has found no evidence that these allegations are true. That being said, I'm pretty sure the leads the FBI have been finding has either been through social media or through the comment section of my videos. I feel like that's a lot to go through, so I wanted to come on here and say that if you have any evidence of this happening, I really want to urge you to go onto the FBI website and submit a report. It's super easy. You just Google FBI, go to their website, and then there's a drop-down tab, and it's like, what is the FBI? What do they do? And then there's submit a report. I really care about y'all's safety, so I really suggest going and submitting that report.
And while that is quite a plot twist, it really doesn't surprise me at all that one of the big 3-letter organizations would get involved in something like this. And maybe it even surprises you to hear that come out of my mouth, because I think I give people online a lot more grace than most, especially when it comes to creating a viral internet sensation, a hoax, perhaps you could call it. I wouldn't call this a hoax, but you know what I mean? One of these big like social media stunts. So often I will kind of be like, okay, this is artistic, creative expression with things like ARGs and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, I think sometimes that nuance is lost in today's internet. But there's really none of that here. It's pretty cut and dry. I understand wanting to have a community. I cannot imagine, and I'm being so serious, what my life would be like without my community. And it's beyond just the support. It's beyond sponsors in a video and getting paid to do this for a living. It's about connecting with people one-on-one. It's about feeling like you care about something that feels bigger than yourself. But the difference is that when my viewers have made jokes about me being like a cult leader, I have shut it down outright, even as a joke. I don't think it's funny. I think it's incredibly, incredibly harmful. And there's actually this part of Allie's video, the person who I mentioned in the beginning who made like the YouTube video who kind of inspired me, where she explains something really well about how susceptible kids are in today's modern day age to actual psychosis.
Children are currently at an all-time high of experiencing PLEs, aka psychotic-like experiences that derive from their constant use of social media. Conversation about psychosis has skyrocketed recently as AI, and specifically ChatGPT, are also a contributor here. I will just be talking about social media-induced PLEs though. I say psychotic-like experiences because it is important to note that social media and AI does not cause psychosis itself, but it adds to delusions. Delusions are a core part of psychosis, but delusions can happen with other situations and conditions. To relevantly add, cult-like behaviors and ideologies can send people who are already susceptible to experiencing psychosis into psychosis.
These screenshots that are being featured in this video as well are actually from a YouTuber who ended up joining the Children of the Waning Star Discord and posted a lot of what they saw. I said earlier in the video that I believed the entity was where we really started to slip into quite sticky and dangerous territory, and I think that these screenshots certainly prove that. It might be one of the leading causes of people in the situation developing psychosis around it. And I'm all for, you know, you have to use the internet safely. You have to be responsible. If you're a parent, you know, try to keep track of what your kids are doing online to the best of your ability. But I simultaneously recognize that, like, as a creator, you also have to be responsible with what you're putting out. Oh, my collar's been flipped the entire video, hasn't it? That's gonna drive me crazy in editing. And I'm not saying that every single social media creator needs to be this role model, but I am saying that I think there are clear boundaries, and I think that this crossed a lot of them. And if you are still at this point in the video and you're thinking it's just not that deep, it's not that serious, this is not scary, it's all stupid, it clearly was something that just got really out of hand, I'd like to tell you actually about another cult that had a heavy presence on TikTok that too just got raided by the FBI, except this one is 100% real. You may have actually watched the Netflix documentary on this that came out last year. It's called Dancing for the Devil and surrounds the controversy around a management company called 7M who managed various social media personalities, primarily dancers actually, because this sort of kicked off when TikTok was really in its like dance era. Like those were the big celebrities, the people who were doing the viral dances. And the whole story, that is something for a different day. But what you need to know about it is that basically creators were being taken into this. They were put into what looked as though it was a content house, and their lives were thoroughly controlled down to who they spoke to, what they ate, what they were spending their money on. None of their money went directly to them. It all passed through the hands of this management company, which was really just a church. So they were getting all of these tax benefits, and it's a recipe for disaster, right? But even with this Netflix documentary that had come out with all of these families talking about how they haven't seen their loved ones in years, like nothing was done with it until July of this year, when federal agents raided one of the church compounds associated with the leader, with authorities cited as saying that the raid on Friday, July 25th was related to an investigation into multiple accusations, including trafficking and money laundering. And while I don't believe any updates have been released to the public as of yet, they removed from that home several documents, they removed electronics, and as I understand it, they are looking into him for all of this and much more. There was stuff about taxes I was hearing and tax fraud related to COVID relief. So it doesn't really surprise me that in the wake of something like that, authorities would be taking like social media cults much more seriously. Clearly, this is a very different situation. I'm not directly comparing the two, but they are the two big TikTok cults, I suppose. Not that there's really anything similar about them aside from cult, which one of them calls themselves a cult and the other clearly does not. But you get it. And that's really a video for a different day. It was just kind of something I wanted to highlight that like, this isn't funny, all right? Like it's Lowe's time. Hello, hand up, time for me to present. This isn't funny. It's not like a quirky, dark humor kind of thing. It is dangerous to put yourself even jokingly into a position as a godly figure. I actually am incredibly fascinated by cults. I've always secretly low-key wanted to do a cult series because I feel like those are all the documentaries that I watch. I find them interesting, and I find the line, the very, to me, sometimes quite thin line of where religion perhaps ends and a cult begins. But people lose everything to this. And you have kids all over TikTok losing their childhoods to this. Some of them still post to this day. Some of them still have the emojis in their name. That's how I found their accounts. Kind of on the nose of what Ali was saying in her video. I think kids are highly susceptible to stuff like this because they want to belong so badly, especially online where it just feels like everything is one big inside joke that maybe you get, maybe you don't, and it all moves so quickly. Feeling like you have a community, a group of people like who understand you, who want the same things you want, or maybe who have the same values you have, who are just interested in what you are. That can be so valuable, but it can also be so incredibly dangerous. I love talking about my little ghosts and my ghouls and the fun parts of the scary side of TikTok. But what you need to understand, and the reason I take your internet security, your safety, if you are ever in my live streams, you know I am a hard ass about like people not sharing real names or like even like their time zones or their locations and stuff. It is because of things like this. I know parasocial relationships are a real thing. I know it can go both ways for creator and audience as well. I won't pretend that I haven't experienced that in both directions as well, both from sometimes people in my audience, but also for me. Very often I feel like I know you guys, when in reality, we are just two strangers on the internet connecting over something that we really like. And I really appreciate you for being here. But I also would say, if anyone ever, even me, tries to tell you what to think or how to act or just what you believe, I would look at it all with a grain of caution and maybe ask yourself if this person thinks of you as a person or just another brain that they can sink their fingers into and manipulate. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm really enjoying taking a stab at some of the darker parts of the scary side of TikTok and just the darker parts of the web in general, so I hope you've been enjoying it. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A special thank you to my subscribers who are members of the channel. If you want to join the channel memberships and get extra members exclusive perks like members only videos, polls, let me decide on future video topics, and so much more, you can click that little join button somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. An extra special thank you to my VIP loves for their continued and generous support of the channel. I love and appreciate you all very, very much. I love you all very much, and I will see you in my next video. Please do not join a cult. Please, if it says cult, just don't, okay? All right, bye.